Hey everybody, Strangers103 here today with another replay cast, bit of carrier content from the new carrier rework, and of course it's going to be an Audacious game. Unfortunately with the aircraft carrier replays you don't actually get to see the dropping indicator. That's kind of been gone for quite a while, even from the old aircraft carriers, but we're playing the Conqueror of the Sky, the Tier 10 British aircraft carrier Audacious. Now, why do I call it the Conqueror of the Sky? I mean, it wasn't even me, it was Unlighting that said it to me, Unlighting from TWA. But, I mean, it's ludicrously easy to play. You just left click on people. That's about it. You just, like, left click to get your indicator, make sure you aim it in the general direction of an enemy, make sure your munitions find an enemy ship, and then left click it. And to give you a demonstration, this is what you do. Now I'm just going to drop some of my aircraft's bombs against the islands here, mostly because I have nothing better to do with life. The reason for that is just so that those 6 planes that I am now eliminating out of the squad will no longer be suffering from flak bursts, and of course are not going to risk their lives dying, and I can't just order my aircraft carrier to only take off 3 planes. Now I spot an enemy Audacious coming through. I'm going to completely ignore that. There's literally nothing I can do about it. Just going to kite away so he doesn't put a fighter in front of me. The reason for this is very simple. I'm here to attack. I could have put a fighter there and it would have potentially been able to spot these guys, but now I'm too close. The Charles Martel's AA will pick off my fighters, so there's absolutely no reason to put a fighter down myself. And I'm literally just going to go in, aim a little, well, get the aiming circle that I did, and then just drop some bombs on the Charles Baguette, and then lose the planes to AA. Yay. Now, I delay a little bit here. This is a pretty big mistake. Well, mistake. I'm trying to move my ship, but I know the enemy carrier is coming through, so I'm going to, launch my planes and try to catch up the enemy's dive bombers. I don't actually believe on stream. I do believe on stream I said that I could have been faster on deploying my aircraft, so I could have deployed the fighter earlier. But turns out in hindsight, deploying the fighter was a complete waste of effort. The Azunyan, Montana, and the rest of the guys behind, their anti-aircraft is sufficient to pick off the enemy's aircraft, and it turns out our Hipper is rather unhappy about his gaming experience, having found a tier 10 aircraft carrier game in a tier 8 ship that generally isn't considered to be the best vessel when up tiered. Anyways, I do pre-fighter, however, all of the enemy's aircraft get eliminated, so realistically speaking, that was a giant waste of a fighter consumable, as I would have been able to use those fighters to potentially spot. I do see that Charles Baguette is inside the capture circle. He is spotted. Perhaps our team will be able to shoot him. He was the only target up, and I gave the team quite a few seconds to shoot. Some of the people are shooting at him, which is quite useful, but I see an enemy Tirpitz in the middle with not really much in terms of firepower to be able to engage him from our team, and then I see an enemy Worcester, and I'm going to rapidly de-ass the sector. I found the Shimmer as well, but our Shimmer has also found him through with his face, and is most likely going to find himself going down there with a Worcester Tirpitz and a Shimmer that are able to engage him. However, I have something else to do with my life right now. I'm going to come in and try to harass this Charles Baguette. He's currently slowing down slightly, so I need to swing my attack run to the right. And as you can see, with the spread of these torpedoes, even with a rather aggressive swing like that, I don't suffer too much on the accuracy from it. For some reason, this Charles Baguette is trying to obtain the cap, but I don't think that's going to work out too well for him. And he currently has shown a rather unfavorable angle to our team. Unfortunately, our team's aim was rather subpar, and so is this torpedo bomber attack. It really is trying to lock him in place so that the team can shoot at him more effectively, and to stop him from being able to pull any funnies with his evasion. My aircraft have dropped a lot of HP, they're down to about half. However, I'm not too keen on using the heal, so I'm just going to retreat them back to base and launch my dive bombers to go and left click on the rune, hoping that my team will be able to shoot him to death, but the Charles Baguette is too close to our Chanfart, so the Chanfart does actually manage to pick up the kill. 380mm guns are more than enough to lull the 25mm of arm that the Charles Baguette is equipped with. Anyways, the enemy carrier is attacking the northern side of the map now. Seeing our blob down south isn't really of much interest to him. The downside of the aircraft carrier remodel is that, well, if I want to go defend, I have to basically fly from here up there to pop a fighter that won't do much, and then go back and attack. Now, if I can attack the Tirpitz, I can attack this blob. Well, I'm not really too interested in the blob because there's an Iowa and a Neptune there, and they have very good anti-aircraft. Tirpitz AA is nothing really to write home about. So I'm going to go and try to finish off the flank. It's very important here to just secure a flank, so you at least have a team that can do something, from a kind of positional point of view, so you're not just stuck doing, stuck in a really bad position where there's not much I can do. Rune angles out slightly for the team, and unfortunately his evasion skills weren't good enough, and I used the border to quickly swing my aircraft around to line up an assault on the Misery. But the kill steal of the year award goes to the friendly Audacious aircraft carrier, having the audacity to come in and steal the Rune and finish off that last little bit of HP. Looks like a pretty decent dispersion against the Missouri, and I was trying to use the border to swing my planes around, however it doesn't work, so I'm just going to commit a very hurriedly and poorly aimed attack against the Republic. My aircraft are dropping models really quickly, and they're dropping HP in the last attacking squad. I do manage to get the drop off for a teeny little bit of extra damage. I'm not going to complain about that. Those aircraft were going to die regardless of what I do. And now I'm trying to move my aircraft carrier up, and again using the border to quickly swing my aircraft back around into the fight. I probably could have turned them reasonably. But now it's time to go look for the enemy Shima. He's most likely coming towards A because that's where the concentration of our forces are. So looking for the Shima is the most important thing right now. Our Schoenfeld is currently attempting to get the cap, but I doubt he'll be able to succeed. You can see he's taking fire and becoming reset. Unfortunately, a lot of our top tiers have decided they want to go around the corner and chase ghosts. And our Armagi, who has decided to go all the way up the 9-10 line, is most likely going to have a very bad day. There is absolutely nothing I can do to assist him, but if we're lucky, he'll be able to deal heavy damage or pick up the kill against the enemy Turpets. I pressed the wrong button. I was gonna say yes, I'm gonna go spot the goddamn DD for you map pinging Hipper, who's having a very good gaming experience in a tier 10 game. I do manage to find the enemy Shima here, so I'm gonna commit in for the torpedo bomber drop against him. I'm gonna try to line up the attack against his side. It's not an aimed drop, which in and of itself isn't that major of a problem because I'm trying to make him turn at the moment. And, aiming the drop would have meant I would just have underled massively. I do get lucky and pick up a torpedo bomber hit. It wasn't the best drop ever. This is a pretty bad drop. I drop it way too far behind. I should have dropped that. I should have dropped that almost on top of his bridge because he's clearly trying to make full speed away from the allied team. My fighters are also dropping models at the moment. You can't see the models actually on them. And I'm coming here to commit to a drop over the island. I drop them and immediately retreat to base. But apparently the torpedoes aren't showing up properly. There they are. But they're not going to find a hit against him at all. Launching more dive bombers because they're pretty silly. So we're going to try to go and harass the Shima again. We want to kill him. Just getting rid of the Shima means that he's not going to be able to zone out our blob of people who most likely don't know how to deal with this kind of attacks. And of course, they are attacking into Misery and Republic, two battleships, which are pretty capable of kiting away. Their armor layout and their firepower is very good for dealing with these kind of things, especially since we have a reasonable amount of AP firepower over there. The Moscow will be very effective against the Republic, being able to rail accurate HE fire against that. But currently, our team's positioning is rather inferior. Our Armagi has yet to go down, and the Turpet has actually managed to circle around the corner, but the aircraft carrier is obviously going to harass the Armagi, and there is absolutely nothing I can do for that at the moment. I pop another fighter, and I'm trying to kill off the enemy Shima. He's currently turning away to evade allied firepower, which means he's turned straight into my dive bomber drop, and I do manage to pick up the kill against that. I'm not going to be able to line up a proper drop against the Republic like that. I was too fast. My bombers can't prepare. My pilots that were doing absolutely nothing can't prepare another attack run. It's a fair balancing decision to reduce the total amount of attacks you can get in rapid succession. But currently the Republic is broadside to our team and will most likely attempt to turn away, so I'm trying to predict for that and drop a bunch of bombs along the line of his deck, picking up a bit of damage against him, but no fires, which is a bit unfortunate. I believe these planes have 37% fire chance or something per bomb. Dropping way too much HP on the model, so I'm going to pull them out of AA range and retreat them back to base, or back to the ship. I'm going to launch a torpedo bomber squadron again. I'm currently not using lol pods. They only have 27mm of penetration. Our Hipper, instead of deciding to try to get the capture point, has decided he wants to engage a full HP Iowa when the rest of our team up there is so low on HP there really isn't a point in him trying to do anything at all. Though of course if he tries to get the cap, he maybe just find himself pushed later on and killed from a range and a position he cannot fight. I'm trying to move my aircraft carrier up. I'm going to park myself behind this area and then eventually head up over there. Again, it's important that we just pick up enemy ships and, you know, get a secure flank. We're currently in a very bad position. We do not have the cap. We're dropped down on battleships. We have 2 battleships remaining. One of them is an all-source that is currently finding himself under the concentrated harassment of the enemy's aircraft carrier. On top of the fact that he's got about over half of the enemy team's remaining ships on his tail. Republic's not an all-source, it doesn't have 44% torpedo bulge, I think it's got 37 or 38% torpedo bulge, so I can actually do some reasonable damage to a Republic compared to trying to drop against an enemy all-source or something, but you know, they don't have an all-source, so that's fine. Using the heal on my aircraft as I swing back around to hit the Republic, but he didn't have a damage control party and his vessel goes down. I wasn't in a good position to attack the Missouri, but he decides to turn so I can actually be in a decent position to attack the Missouri, so I will attack the Missouri. These aircraft still have a bit of HP on them, but that's still quite a bit of concentrated AA, so I'm going to try to make the attack. If I get lucky, I get lucky. If I don't get lucky, I don't get lucky. But I may be attacking him on the side that is AA currently isn't reinforced. I'm dropping a lot of HP. I'm down to 1.2, so I just quickly drop the torpedoes to make sure I don't lose the models to a random flak burst. The fish in the water, not the best attack, not the cleanest attack ever in the world, but it doesn't matter. I do manage to pick up another hit, so that's a tiny bit of bonus damage, and that's useful. Enemy Missouri made a slight mistake. His damage control party, a flooding that's already been running for a while. Floodings don't last that long now, and a single flooding doesn't do an infinite amount of damage like it used to do. I should have used my engine boost consumable here just to get the planes toward the Missouri slightly faster, but it appears I don't. I should have pre-fighted there, but I fighter way too late. The enemy's Audacious could easily just go and drop the back of our Montana. However, he decides he wants to circle around and fly back for the Alaska, but that's not really going to be a good attack for him because it means he'll have to fly into my fighters, and that means that I may be able to, you know, get the engagement against his enemy aircraft. But if I pre-fightered, then that would have been problem solved, and they would never have been able to get into a position to even consider attacking the Alaska. My fighters would have tagged on the exfiltration after his bomb run. Not the best bomb run there. You can see quite a few of those didn't do damage, but my fire already gets compensated for, and I get a few more fires. Again, using the water to rapidly swivel around to get a re-attack run against him. However, the Alaska does finish off the Missouri, which is very important. And I'm going to drop these aircraft on the Audacious. Instead of flying off to the Richelieu, I'm here, I might as well. Audacious AA really isn't the most powerful thing in the world, so I don't really mind doing this. And Audacious also has really, really bad armor, so we're going to go from 102,000 damage to 106, not really the most amount, to 116, sorry. So you can see that's 14,000 damage drop, plus Damacon triggered on the Audacious, so our Alaska, which is about to go down, but the Moskva, which is full HP, who went down the border of the map throughout the entirety of the game as a Moskva, will be able to most likely finish off the Audacious given sufficient time shooting HE. Now, I'm thinking to myself, what do I really need to do at this moment? The Richelieu is a rather tempting target, the Neptune is in the area. However, we do need to kind of engage our Moskva into the game. But I see that the Montana is also engaging the reversing Audacious, who's probably got screwed by the Wargaming's autopilot now being capable of reversing. Our Montana doesn't get the best salvo in the world. He gets most likely a lot of hits, but it doesn't look like he picks up any citadels, which is quite useful for the enemy's team. Not very good for us, of course. But I pop a fighter to defend the Moskva. The enemy's planes did already RTB. But I'm trying to bleed our Moskva's HP a little bit less. He's currently got full HP, but with the rest of the team currently going down, we need to protect that HP as best as we possibly can. And if I can stop a bit of damage from the enemy's aircraft carrier, that of course is going to be useful. Now I'm coming in to attack these enemies' Richelieu. It's very important I try to cut him off from going in up close to the Montana. The longer I can delay him, potentially the longer he will survive. RIP is doing the right thing, trying to focus down the enemy's Mogami. That way I don't have to waste attacks going for him. I do manage to pick up a double flood against the Richelieu, and if it doesn't have a damage control party, that'll actually hurt quite a bit. Leading ahead of the Tirpitz as well. I will not be in a position to attack the Mogami here. I would have loved to finish him off, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. And I'm going to try to harass the Worcester. Our Montana eventually expires to the concentrated enemy firepower, but I do manage to eliminate the enemy's Richelieu through my double flooding. And now I'm going to go back and make life difficult for the Tirpitz. Our Hippo does manage to pick up the Mogami, so that's quite fair, and I do manage to pick up a torpedo hit against the enemy's Worcester, making him delay a little bit, making him turn to try to evade them and all, is of course a very good thing for me overall. We're going to go and harass the enemy's Turpets. Now, his low HP target, the Neptune's AA, can be somewhat avoided by using these islands to do something about it. Turpets has a fighter up, but I'm not really worried about Turpets' fighter. Neptune AA is doing a little bit to me right now. I've yet to drop any heavy models. Gonna pop a fighter, but Neptune AA will shred that rather quickly, trying to... It's really just a hope of being able to take down the enemy's Turpets' fighter, but that's not really gonna be the case. Boosting myself around, I'm trying to go around for a rear attack against the Turpets, but that puts me slightly in range of the Worcester. I'm gonna use the map just to move my ship up a little bit. I don't care if my aircraft carrier surface spotted by the Turpets. If he wants to shoot HE at me, bloody hell, you're welcome to shoot HE at me. You're not going to do anything of significance to me at all. He does manage to trigger my damage control party, but that's the end of it. Nobody is spotting me right now, and the Turpets will go down to my left click. And now the important thing to eliminate is a Neptune, not what the Hippo thinks. The Hippo can run, the Worcester can be dealt with later on. However, it is absolutely important we prevent the enemy team from getting the cap. If the enemy team manages the cap and kill our Moskva, then that's basically game over right then and there. Our Moskva gets a good reset in that prevents the immediate danger of the cap, and the Neptune now most likely will attempt to rush down the Moskva, which is the correct play for him to make. Attempt to rush the Moskva and the torp him to death in a close range engagement. And being a bit of a cheeky bastard, because this Hipper was the guy that said well, apparently he was judging my sexuality based on playing an aircraft carrier. I mean, I won't say anything. I am gay. I like other aircraft carriers, right? But I'm trolling him a little bit, and it doesn't look like he doesn't look like he understood that he is basically being an idiot, and that the play of turning back into a tier 10 cruiser with half HP tier 8 cruiser against something that has about 5 times your DPM combined without being able to with the armor to resist your AP because of German AP having reduced penetration compared to other 203 8-inch guns and 20.3s. So he decides to commit suicide, which is a really poor play right now. However, thankfully the Neptune, in failing to pay attention, managed to beach himself, making him an easy target for both me and the Moskva. So we protect the cap, and, well, that's good, because, well, our Hippo just died, trying to make a torpedo rush against the Worcester, which will have hydroacoustic search up and available to, dodge them. However, I'm trying to boost my aircraft in here to try to attack the Worcester while he's dodging the torpedoes, which is very useful. Unfortunately, it dodges the torpedoes, and my models drop really badly there. So I'm not sure I'm gonna get a hit out of that, but I mean, if I do get a hit, which is very good. Gotta go in with dive bombers, no flooding, but it's a Worcester. Even if you flood it, it's not really that good. Anyways, I'm trying to spot him through the island and then get behind the island there, and I spot him. I don't want to attack him head on here because I know he has to turn in towards a cap if he wants to have a chance to win. Currently, with 2.5 minutes to tick, we have more than enough time. Now, unfortunately, without a fighter to pop around the corner just to keep him spotted, this is not going to be a good attack run. He's turning in, and I overswing my aircraft, and I kind of forget about the drift from the enemy's Worcester. So that's a very poorly executed attack, and I completely miss it. But it's not really the end of the world. I have a couple of more aircraft to come along and attack him again. And it looks like Comrade, I don't know how to look at the map properly and realize what's actually important, and turn in to commit suicide because I don't know game tactics, is trying to be cheeky in return. I can't blame him. I was cheeky to him, and I think he finally realized that he was being an idiot. Anyways, the Worcester now has to push into the Alpha Cap, which is very good. Because, well, I mean, he's forced to do it, but him coming into that narrow area means that he will pretty much be in an obvious position. He's either going to stop behind the island, and I can attack him straight around the corner of it and drop him with torpedoes, or he's going to swing around full speed trying to chase me, figuring that he needs to... he actually needs to kill me, but realistically speaking, all he needs to do is survive. I anticipate him to turn in. If it turned out that he most likely would have... just survived, I think, because he would have been too fast. But I do pick up the kill with a pretty lucky torpedo at the end, which is good for me. I would have had more than enough time to harass and kill him with lollipods or with another dive bomber squad, so that's not really a problem. Anyways, We do pick up the seventh kill there, and I'm sure the 7 people that we kill stole enjoyed their gaming experience, just like I think the 4 people that went down, 3 or 4 people that went down to the enemy's aircraft carrier. I'm sure Hipper also enjoyed his top tier gaming experience in a tier 8 cruiser with an aircraft carrier in the game. I'm sure he really enjoyed his gaming experience and was happy to divulge that in the game through his um, interesting comments and map pings and very interesting wish to put an end to his gaming experience that round. He didn't do too badly, so kind of cut the guy some slack. But he didn't do too badly as a tier 8 cruiser. Managed to hold off the last few enemies coming down. Managed to pick up the Mogami, so I didn't have to waste an attack on that. And that really was one of the important things that did allow us to stage a comeback in being able to prevent, stop the enemy carrier rather early in the early in the mid game. We killed them at the end of the mid game. The kind of like this early mid stage of the game, we managed to stop the enemy carrier. And in the late game, I had a carrier against a lot of low HP targets that didn't have that much anti-aircraft, so I could just freely bomb them to death. And I was close enough to be able to cycle my aircraft slightly faster, which is a very important thing with an aircraft carrier. This with the way it is right now, being able to cycle more attacks is very, very good for you. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast of the Conqueror of the Skies. That really isn't much more to say about it, to be honest. It's an easy ship to play. The planes are incredibly maneuverable. They're very easy to use. There's no real skill involved with it. You just like a Conqueror, you just spam people until the end of the game, and that's really about it. But yes, hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.